Hello, hello, hello. Can you guys hear me? All right, guys. So let's talk about this. All right. So, for a lot of guys out there, for many men, they're looking for a lot of shortcuts to be successful with women. What's that one line that I could say to her that could get her attention or to get her on a date? And while it's possible to learn all these skills, it's not possible to learn them all at once. It takes time. And if you're new here, my name is Mitchell. I'm a relationship coach, and in today's live video, you will understand you can have it all. You just can't have it all at once. And so, let's talk about practicing patience. Practicing patience, all right? So, success in anything will take time. And for many guys, they want to learn how to become more successful with women. And you should know that men and women fall in love a little bit differently. So usually for a guy, he could fall in love with a girl the moment he sets his eyes on her and be like, that's the girl that I want to be with. For a woman, it takes a little bit more time. It takes a little bit more effort. You know, women fall in love with the ears, men fall in love with the eyes. And so men and women fall in love differently. And like I said, you can have it all. You just can't have it all at once. So you can have it all if you just practice being patient while making as few mistakes as possible. But you can't have it all at once. You may become great and successful with women, but there's always going to be an area that you're going to be lacking in that field. But also, let's just branch it out too as well. It's not just getting her attention, is maintaining that attraction, right? So maintaining that attraction means that you have to take care of yourself, which means that you have to stay on top of your fitness. You gotta be healthy, and you gotta take care of your professional life, your finances. Now, in order to have a lasting relationship, it will take time for you to understand to take care of your health and your professional life. But let's go back to relationships. Okay, let's go back to talking about relationships. Men can create a beautiful story for the woman they want to be with by providing her a true sense of safety without needing to compromise themselves. Many guys feel the need that they need to have a lot of money, a lot of status, or they need to be a certain height. They need to be like 6 feet tall or something in order to attract a certain type of woman. What they don't realize is that they just need to work on themselves. They need to work on themselves and control the controllables. Become more confident and competent while minimizing mistakes, and she will be all yours. Now, woman just wants to be in the love story. So to be safe around you, to make sure she feels comfortable around you, and they want to follow your leadership. That's all it really takes, is so that you could become the leader and she wants to be able to follow your leadership. And just like music, it's the space in between the notes that makes music beautiful. Otherwise, what you get is just noise. So learning to step back and allowing her to come to you is the best thing that you can do. So practice infinite patience. All right, guys, if you're out there and you're watching this, listen up. Practice infinite patience. The reason why most men fail in relationships or the courtship is because they lack the emotional self-control. They want things to speed up quicker than what she's ready for. They basically want to accelerate things and make it faster than what she wants. But what I'm saying is, all you have to do, basically, you just got to do the opposite of what most of what you're doing. And a big part of that is emotional self-control. Take a step back, let her come to you, right? So for a lot of guys, they go straight for sex when she's not ready. He wants to lock her down into a committed relationship, but she's like, well, I'm not ready for that yet. So what does that tell you guys? It tells you that women are the ones that controls the relationship. So it's ultimately her choice on whether or not she wants to be in a relationship with you or not. All you have to do is just be her most irresistible option. become great, have fun, hang out and have fun, and then hook up. Okay, as Coach Corey Waynes always says. Now, slide number 2 is knowing your why. What attracts women, and why are you doing this to attract them? Like, know your why. I mean, it's nice to be wanted, right? Everybody knows that. But now, before we dive into it, let's talk about this kind of general thing, right? So we can all understand what is happening. And I really like this because Scott Galloway said that, and I quote Scott Galloway: "Society has a tendency to evaluate a woman's success through the lens of her romantic success." So a woman in her 30s is super successful in her professional life, but she's single, and that is seen as a fault. Like, what is wrong with her? But on the other hand, men who are more financially successful in their professional life and is single is considered a feature, something that's kind of be praised about. So what does this tell you? It tells you that at a very young age, it tells that a lot of young men that need to be more financially successful. Like, you got to make a lot of money. Otherwise, you're not going to really have a lot of dating options out there, or you're not going to be selected. And while being great in a professional career is important, I'm not saying that is not, like, you need to be able to support yourself and her too. Your bank account is not what keeps a woman, okay? It's understanding women that will give you the advantage. And so what we need to understand is that attraction is not a choice. You don't really get to choose what you're attracted to. Attraction is not a choice. If you find that person attractive, you find that person attractive. Okay? If she doesn't find you attractive, no amount of you wanting her is going to make her want you. So attraction is not a choice. So in order to become attractive consistently, you have to know what is attractive and why you want to become more attractive. And when I say attractive, I don't just mean physically attractive. I'm talking about just becoming the type of person that draws people in. How you speak, how you talk, how you show up, and how you present yourself. What are your nonverbal communications? And just understanding that why, that's going to make the biggest difference. Okay. Growth takes time, so be patient. All right. Some people find ways, other finds excuses. Become a better version of yourself. Okay. Becoming a better version of yourself, it starts today with an unknown amount of tomorrows, because you never promise tomorrow, right? You should focus on the things that you enjoy and become laser focused at it, almost to a point where it becomes becomes an obsession. This means it's something that is deeply emotionally compelling. It's something that you like, otherwise you would not be consistent. So think about it in this term. Like, imagine being forced to do something that you don't want to do. You're not going to be enthusiastic about it. It's going to be very difficult to persuade another person that you like a certain thing if you don't have this connection or this love of why you're doing a certain thing. So it has to be emotionally compelling, otherwise it's not going to be consistent. You're not going to have a good time. It's kind of like showing up just to pay the bills, right? It's like it becomes very difficult. So, but on the other hand, imagine you get to do something that you love doing, right? Imagine you have something you love doing and you enjoy doing it. The things you do, the things you say, and how you go about it will be communicated non-verbally. So an example is like, imagine you make pans for a living, right? You make pans for a living and you go deep into details about how making pans, these specific pans, and the reason why you did it was because you like making different type of dishes with it. And this isn't just any ordinary type of pan. Like, this is a pan that holds heat a little bit better, whatever it is. It's like, in order to be interesting, you have to be interested. And so you have to be interested in the things that you like doing. Otherwise, it's going to sound like you have a very boring life. And so for me, personally, I love talking about relationships. I love talking about how great relationship starts with two people, and they're there to share each other's completeness, and how love is allowing. You're allowing the other person to be who they are and as they are. You're not trying to change them. You can gently nudge them towards a direction, and if they don't want it, that's totally up to them. But it's your job, especially if you're the guy or the masculine person in a relationship, you have to vet your dating prospects carefully, and just understanding, do you guys have similar things, similar values, right? And are you attuned to your natural essence? Like, if you're a feminine woman, are you more feminine? And if you're not, you got to start asking yourself why. Same thing for guys too as well. If you're a guy and your natural essence is masculine energy, but yet you're acting more like the chick and you're not understanding why, there's going to be a discrepancy in your relationship. It's going to cause the relationship to fall apart. Your relationship is not going to be passionate, even though you guys have things in common. So for me, I love talking about relationship, right? Like, just sharing each other's completeness, and what to look out for, and how to navigate through a relationship when times get tough. How would you communicate? And just the list goes on. And another one for me is dancing. I love being able to be creative, even though I'm copying choreographies most of the time. It still allows me to be me and to move the way that I move. Everybody dances differently, right? So even if I'm learning a specific choreography, it comes out different for everybody. And so for me, it's like, I love being able to do that. I love dancing. It doesn't matter if no one's watching. It doesn't matter if 1,000 people is watching. To me, I just love dancing because it allows me to be creative. It allows me to express myself in a way where it's different. It's different when I'm moving versus just talking, right? And on top of that, I see that as a very good cardio type of exercise, because I'm not the biggest fan of running, okay, on a treadmill or doing an elliptical or stairmasters. I do it from time to time, but for me, this is a nice healthy thing, and I just love doing it. And it's like, if someone were to ask me like, oh, why do you like dancing, like, that's the main reason, is because I get to be able to express myself non-verbally in a way where you could just look at it and you can see it. You can see the joy that I have while I'm doing it. Anyways, the point is, if you love what you do and you enjoy doing something, the right person will find the same joy and support you in what you love doing. Because what happens, like attracts like. So to go back to what Tony Robbins says, is that what makes a relationship work are things in common. But what makes a relationship passionate are things that are different. The difference is masculine and feminine energy. It doesn't matter if it's a heterosexual relationship, gay, lesbian, it doesn't matter. There needs to be a dynamic. Otherwise, you're gonna basically go head to head. It's like if you have two masculine energies in the same room, you're all gonna try to tear each other's head off. So there needs to be a masculine and there needs to be a feminine. And it's important to understand your own, and it's important to understand theirs as well. So for me, my natural essence is masculine energy. So what does it mean? It means that you have to stay focused on your mission and purpose. You have to be laser focused on the things that you love. What is my mission in life? What is my purpose of being here? And what is masculine energy? Is it eruptive, or is it more calm, right? Just understanding that. And I know it now, right? So masculine energy is about being cool, it's being calm, and it's being collected. It's being grounded, like the center. And it's easy for us guys to be thrown off center. But it's more important to find yourself back into your center, and how quick you could get back into your center without being bothered by that. Because if you're ruled by your emotions as a guy, a lot of people is gonna see that as weakness, and it's not attractive. And so just understanding that. And then it's like, well, understanding what's feminine energy. Well, feminine energy is a little bit chaotic sometimes. It's a little crazy. It's uncertainty. It's not knowing certain things. And it's my job to present that when she feels uncertainty, where I give her a little bit of certainty as well, where I show her and be like, and in order for me to provide her certainty, I need to be grounded in my center. Otherwise, it's gonna be really hard to communicate that I understand her if I'm not emotionally grounded myself. And so just understanding that type of dynamic. And how long did it take? It took many, many years. It took many, many years. So what I'm telling you guys is like, yes, you can have it all. You just can't have it all at once. Because especially when I was learning this relationship and understanding what it takes to get your first date, to get to being in a relationship, to maintaining that type of relationship, and how to navigate it through the more difficult times, you can have it all. You just can't have it all at once. And so it's going to be a learning process, and you're going to make a lot of mistakes through that time, and that's okay. So, but like I said, I enjoy doing it. I love dancing. I love talking about relationships. So those are the two things that I enjoy. And so naturally, I'm just going to be better at it. Now, I do want to say this, which is the point isn't just to be great at something. Of course, you don't want to continue doing something and not be good at it, or at least be great at it, right? But it's better to enjoy the process as you're getting better and watch yourself grow. That is the process. You have to enjoy doing what you're doing. Otherwise, you're not going to have your heart in it, and it's going to be really difficult to be better at it. So now, my last slide is it's a personal story, but I do want to start out by talking about Tony Robbins' quote, which was, most people overestimate what they could do in a year, but underestimate what they could do in 10. And for the people that's watching this live right now, feel free to ask questions if you have any questions. If you don't, it's all good. You could just stay here and listen. But yeah, so most people, they overestimate what they could do in a year, but underestimate what they could do in 10. So now, even thinking back, I would have never thought or saw myself as a relationship coach. I never thought it was something that I could be good at. I just thought that, well, if I don't know it, that's it. That's kind of like my fate. And I just kind of have to navigate through that and hope for the best. But hope isn't a strategy. It's not a plan, right? So if I don't know something, I have to learn about it. So, and there's so much noise out there yet that it's really easy to pick the wrong thing. And I was very fortunate and lucky enough to find my coach, Coach Corey Wayne. Shout out to you. To find him, because I was at a dark time at one point in my life, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I was messing up. But after listening to him, reading his books, understanding where he's coming from, it started to internalize, and I started to understand, like, oh, this is what it means to be this. This is what it means when your lady's acting like this, assuming that she is a happy, healthy, normal person. It's normal that she's acting like this. How would you approach that without losing your shit, right? And there's so many advice that he has that, as he was talking, light bulbs just went off, and I was like, all right, wow, this is something that you could actually get good at. And so, like I said, I never thought it was something I was gonna be good at. But it wasn't until I was so obsessed by learning about relationship and understanding it, what it means and what it takes. And, just looking back, I'm like, wow, I never thought I would see myself where I'm at, what I am at now. And then, what's the crazy thing too, is that it's not something that you can see in front of a mirror. It's not something that you can see in front of a mirror. It's something that you could definitely feel, right? It's something that you could definitely feel, and it's something that's very rewarding, very fulfilling at the same time. So But anyways, along the way there was a lot of people that doubted me, you know. But I trusted the process. I enjoyed the process. I trusted the process. I believed in my coach and what Coach Corey Wayne and other mentors have said, And then, like I said, I started to internalize, and I started to realize that what I was learning was not about tips and tricks, but it's more of a way of life and understanding as a type of philosophy. So then, as I started to understand that this is a type of philosophy, and I was like, well, it's crazy because I was only looking at it at a relationship standpoint. I wasn't looking at it as my entire life, like this, my general life, and how it could affect all areas of my life. And so I got to live the way I wanted to live, especially just understanding the relationship portion. But then I started to understand, like, the reason why I was the way I was because I was in an unhealthy, unstable type of environment. But now I got to live, or I got to live how I always kind of wanted to live, a little bit more peaceful and more controlling, at least the things that I can control, and also letting go of things that I cannot control, like the outcomes. Like, there's no way I could control what happens, but I could always control how I react to those or how I respond to those. So then, anyways, I realized that, like, the way my relationship that I had with certain people before, at least, wasn't how I wanted it to be. There were people that would say certain things, and I'm like, okay, I don't like it, but I just accept it. And so because I accepted things that they said without speaking up, because I didn't want to be confrontational, I ended up being resentful, and I didn't like it. And I was like, well, the reason why you don't like it is because you were fearful. And I got angry, and behind anger is always fear. And I was unstable. And how can I expect a woman to want to follow my leadership if I can't even lead myself? And so that was something that it came in full loop. And then I got to realize, I was like, wow, like, I had to change a lot of things. And so, like I said, I realized the way my relationships I had with certain people wasn't how I wanted. And it was, partially because of the environment that I was in, right? And certain people. So, like I said, I found myself being upset more often than not. And that was not healthy for me. So I had to take a step out. I knew I couldn't control the outcomes, but I could control how I reacted to those. So to some extent, I had some control of some of the outcomes by changing my environment and the type of people that I was around. So I was better. So I wanted a better life for myself. I just couldn't have it all at once, if you understand. Just focus on the things that align with my values, my goals and values, and live accordingly to that. As long as I lived according to how I view my values, and I was true to that, I was never gonna be upset. Like, it never really upsetted me that I made a mistake. I'm like, yeah, I made a mistake, and I'm not happy because of that. But Mitchell, did you do this because this is the person that you are, and this is who you are? And I always go back to that. And I'm like, yeah, I did it. It wasn't the outcome that I wanted, but it was still why I did it. Like, that was me because I did that. So, like I said, once I removed myself from certain things and certain people and started focusing on the things that I aligned with, I was finally able to have a clearer mind to focus on the things that I need to work on for myself each year. Like, each year that went by, I look back and see, I'm like, wow, like, in my personal life, I felt like it was a big step, a big growth, especially like just even dating back to, just think about like the time that was a little bit rough for me. And I would say that was somewhere between high school and like college, I really didn't understand who I was. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I felt like everybody around me knew exactly what they wanted to do. Like, I'm going to go to community college for 2 years and then graduate and then have this job and then move forward with that and make money and yada yada. And I'm like, yeah, I don't even know what to eat for lunch. And these people already know how they want to live their lives. And I'm like, I felt like I was behind. And it took a lot of time to and a lot of patience. And eventually I was able to find the things that I did enjoy. Like I said, I like dancing, I like talking about relationships. And dancing has been part of my life ever since I was a teenager. And that was something that I kind of latched onto and I never let go. And in terms of relationship coaching, and understanding relationships, that was something that's I would say is pretty new to me, even though it's not new anymore. But it was pretty new to me at the time. And I was like, wow, like this is something that you could get good at. You can understand, and when you learn and you could navigate through the more difficult times. And when you could start seeing things instead of being upset, because like I said, behind anger is always fear. And I was always upset because I couldn't figure it out. So my fear was, I don't know how to solve this problem. And so I was always constantly finding myself upset instead of finding answers for myself. But, luckily I was able to find Coach Corey Wayne. So, big shout out to you. This is always something that it was emotionally compelling. I was listening to Tony Robbins, his mentor, Jim Rohn, and he would talk about, you gotta find your reasons of why you want to do certain things. And what was that other quote? Answers. No, I don't want to butcher it. But anyways, just listening to certain mentors, people that has done it before you, great people that has done it before you. And so that was that one thing, that one quote that kind of stuck to me. And it was about 10 years ago when I first heard it. It's like most people overestimate what they could do in a year, but underestimate what they could do in 10. And so I was like, wow, like imagine I gave myself a decade of something that I truly enjoy doing. How great would I be if I just continue to do it, especially if I had this type of thirst for knowledge, right? And yeah, I mean, it's something that I never regret. I'm glad I learned it. I'm glad I could help people with it. And if you're here and you're watching this, and if something that has helped you, leave it in a comment down below. But yeah, you can have it all. You could have it all. You just can't have it all at once. So, if there's an area of your life that you really want to focus on, listen to your gut. Listen to your gut feeling. For me, there was a certain level of pain, and then that pain caused a certain level of mess. And from that mess, it caused me to release and understand. And then there was this mess that became a message to other people so that they don't have to go through a certain type of hardship. I mean, to some degree, you have to understand, like, everybody's going to get hurt. Everybody's going to have some level of pain. It's just that, there are answers out there, and it's your job to fix it yourself. No one's coming to save you. Most people don't give a shit about your problems, right? You gotta participate in your own rescue. And that's another thing that Coach Corey said too. You gotta participate in your own rescue. And so being able to understand that, and that my life is my own responsibility, and it's only my job to take care of myself, that a lot of things started making a lot of sense. And then it's time for food. Yeah, I started being able to control the way on how I want things to happen for me. And if there were certain outcomes, like I said, there were certain outcomes that I didn't enjoy, it was okay because it was still according to how I lived my life, and that's who I was. Anyways, yeah, that is all for today's episode. You can have it all. You could have it all. You just can't have everything all at once. And thank you for whoever is here listening. If you have any questions down below, leave it in a comment down below. Otherwise, I won't see you guys next week. I won't see you guys. Maybe I might do a quick little live. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I might do a quick little live before I go. Yeah, because I'm not going to be here next week. So anyways, I catch you guys on the next episode in probably 2 weeks. And I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.